Well, hello, my handsomes. Guess what we're doing today? We're going to be analyzing again. Wow, what a surprise. Today is the 1-year anniversary of this original world record gameplay, which was taken on the 21st of December. This was actually uploaded on the exact same day, so this is the actual release. The timestamp of this, if I can't exactly remember, but it was something about around, I think, 2 p.m. On that day. So I'll be releasing this video on whatever the timestamp is. I have a timestamp video somewhere. I think it's I do own a timestamp. I can't remember where it is exactly. But anyway, we're going to be analyzing the video. We're going to be talking about the things I did in the game, and maybe it will help you improve in the game yourself. But anyway, let's get into it. This is actually the original intro, which I haven't used in ages. This is from my original
No, it's a burn vacuum because
gameplay
there's no fucking
sometimes.
loot from the... For fuck's sake. Bro, why? I get
So as you can see, I'm already crying. The spawn which I'm getting nowadays, if I were to have the spawn, for example, this is a shit time to pause the video.
as well.
Because of the way the spawn is done, I wouldn't have actually gone into this corner. Back in the day, no matter what the spawn was, I would. Because the spawn is coming from this side, a reception would be a good idea as well. Also, Warden House would be nice. Because the reason the spawn is so shit is because if you land here, you're actually facing outward rather than inward. So if you grab a gun, you have to turn around. Also, the distance to the corner is really garbage. If you have a spawn which is here and you go down, it's not that bad.
And I rape all their face. It's like, why? Why? Basically, I got heptachild, no hexachild.
So as you can see, I'm going to be facing outward when I actually land.
I destroyed everyone, then I had to run away. I had no loot, no meds, and I couldn't do shit.
The whole idea right now is just to get perks, get loot. Maybe pick up one free kill or whatever.
Even though I got 6 kills in the span of 2 seconds, I have to die, because I have no loot, or any way to heal. It's done.
I got really lucky timing on this guy. One thing I shouldn't have done here was shot at the armor. I was actually not paying attention to the game because I'm crying about the game which I died before.
There's a piece of wood right here initially.
This is also recorded on a different mic, so you'll see I sound different in the game. The interesting matter about this lobby, this was actually a really lucky drop, was there's quite a lot of luck, and especially with the vacuum which was in Cell House.
Oh, they're here.
So the Cell House vacuum, usually it doesn't work too well, because the reason it doesn't work is if you kill some people in Cell House, they can either drop on this side or on this side, and they can come back with full loot. If you do this in any other place, for example Wardens, they can't do that. They redeploy exactly on you, they have no other options.
Might actually even
But in this case, everybody was redeploying exactly on me, even in Cell House, so it was quite lucky with the people that were dumb enough to come back. The sensor was really, really helpful in this regard as well. Right now, the whole idea I'm having is just to kill the people who are here, because a lot of them seem garbage, and they're definitely disorganized, they don't want to play together. I have one weakness which needs to be taken care of. I need a backpack and a mobility. Technically 2 weaknesses. The main priority would be mobility, of course. Backpacks are everywhere. I'm also heavy on health, which is not a bad idea. That's fine. It's good health, and this is good health.
Is that a consumer? I might actually need that shit. Nice, let's pick up an assets model, yes. So useful. I have some... This is a really garbage vacuum, because it's a vacuum and...
Overall, the actual loot I received in the game was the perfect combination you would need, because I need any option I would have wanted, I could take, because of the sensor, because of the grapples and shit. This jump was garbage. If you want to not take full damage here, you slide. I just sort of fell off. If you fall off, you take full damage. If you slide really far out,
back, so
then you won't actually take full damage there.
The sensor makes it sometimes easier. And the noobs also make it easy. I actually said what happened.
By this timing, 11 kills is insane. If you actually wanted to go for a 50, you would need 20 kills by the end of the zone closing in, which I think I might have even had. I think I was somewhere at 17. The zone which I'm getting is a zone here, which was very beneficial because if you take a look, most of it's ocean, about 60-ish%. which means that you're gonna get a lot of condensation here. And if people don't get wiped, it's going to be insanely good for kills. It also remains with this place here. This is one of the best places to get a vacuum in, to get kills. Docks is a decent place to have a vacuum, but it is a risky one since there's too many floors. The reason floors are an issue in Black Ops 4 and you should probably try and stay away from them is because the audio engine is so shit, you can't hear if people are up or down. So you'll either end up getting overwhelmed by all the sounds or you're just going to have people camping in corners. So there's a lot of things that go wrong here, but if you have enough supply, you can also hold the docks vacuum. As you can see, I'm also playing on the French BO4 version, so you can't understand what the hell they're saying.
Wow, this is perfect timing, and also people keep on coming back. If only it was Fury. If it was Fury, it would be 10 times better. We even have this. It's looking good, I mean...
As I said, if I had a Fury from this game could have been slightly stretched in my opinion. Really lucky timing with this guy. The reason I was moving this way is, I think what I was actually hoping for is there being people here, if I remember correctly. And because Wardens is a really nice place for a vacuum. It turned out there was actually people further down, which wasn't an issue. But if there was nobody further down in docks, this gameplay would have actually definitely had a halt.
I'll get VMP later. It's a docks ending, which is surprisingly not shit. It's actually pretty good for vacuums, except if you run out of perks. It's not. Oh, the people from South actually went here, okay.
As you can see, these guys are actually like level 1s, which is perfect. And the timings of which I'm getting in this game are impeccably perfect, because there's people chowing over people right in front of my face. Now this was the only time where I could have died, and this guy had a brawler. Good news, I had level 3 and traumas, so even if he did brawler me, he would have died, and I could have just brawlered him back. This was also a very big thing here, if you notice, where I can't even pull up my thing. This guy actually, one thing to pivotally notice, he had 171. If I brawlered him, he might have actually had a better chance of killing me. That's why I always recommend at least shooting like 2 bullets into someone, just in case they have a trauma kit, or have a trauma kit, or slightly a bit more health. So a brawler does, I believe, 155 HP. 2 bullets should be enough to take care of most traumas. And that's what happened here. Because I shot him, it was no problem. The reason I'm moving around, it might not seem like a big issue, whatever. Because I don't know where people are, moving around at least somewhere to a different angle here, closing off old lines of sights and opening up new ones, it makes sure that people... basically gives me safety. Like for example, this guy was trying to shoot me in the back. Now that I've moved, no problem. That was actually a wallbang shot. So especially when you're in places like this is a big thing to do. If you're trying to hold a vacuum, definitely move around. Do not stay on one single corner or one single area. It will be a disaster unless you can 100% hold it. If you have a barricade, it becomes easier. I don't have barricades, so I can't exactly sit in this one corner. This push here is very risky, but the reason this works is because I counted how many people I killed. So there was this guy. There was the guy originally back here, which I killed, and this person who was trying to shoot me in the back on the staircase, this one. That's 3 people, so it means there's only 1 person with full loot left, because they're all on the same team. So if you try and estimate that, you'll realize that there's a full team of full loot guys who have VMPs and shit. 3 of them are dead, there's probably only one more guy with full loot. Also pushing this was very important, because if he got revived, then it would have been a big issue. Now I've actually created a much better situation for myself. The whole team with full loot is dead, and I've created an opening where they have to come back and try and fight me, because look at all the loot they lost. Of course they're going to come back to this, so it means I can farm them more. Also, luckily, they had a mobility, which helps. I'm actually confidently pushing a lot of this shit. The reason that you don't have to worry in this case if people are camping in corners is there's a simple question you can ask yourself. If there was a guy who was here, would he have already chowed me? And in this room, the answer is yes. If there was a guy sitting in one of these dark corners, he would have chowed you by now, of course. So you can just go through this window, no problem. The only person who was here was a person who was in transit from outside. There are certain cases where you don't need to worry about campers. This is a room that you might have to be worried about. Over back. As you can see, there's actually people throwing smokes and camping here with a sensor. I'm holding around these bags because I'm worried that people are going to come back and grab their shit. And if they grab their shit, it's much more dangerous. Really unlucky of him.
That was so gay.
Again, a lot of the lobby was in my favor. The lobby, although it was in my favor, there wasn't actually hella noobs here. There was some mass prestiges and some garbages.
We're gonna have quite a 3-team vacuum here soon. Another team just came.
I identified this as a 3-team vacuum, which is correct. At least I'm pretty sure, because it's not because of the people I killed, but there's actually people out here coming in. These are coming in from parade. And this is the thing that I was talking about before, where the zone is so into the ocean that it's condensing everyone into a small area, and because no one has died yet, it's very beneficial. This barricade, you can actually jump over it with just taking 1 damage. Also, I have a reinforced, so it makes it easier. So no problem, just if you jump through this and you have reinforced, it's not an issue. Got a really lucky kill there with 1.
This guy's ADHS, that's so gay.
1 damage.
Full of daggers. With perfect accuracy. Of course I have perfect accuracy, I have aimbot of course. Apparently. Now pulled me a cheater again, let me click that. Is he up?
This is one of the situations where flow went a bit garbage. And I think the one mistake I made was I wasn't waiting around too much. I was trying to find new people. If I just waited a bit, I would have had a bit more noticeability of where people are going, especially here. I don't know why they took advantage of this. If you ever need to worry about finding people, look up into the sky at about, let's say 13, 14, 15 seconds. You'll see people redeploying, and you can see people like redeploying down here and shit. That was actually a bird, but you could see them before. 1 second, you will notice them all coming down. They'll be redeploying onto, they'll touch their feet on the ground at 10 seconds, as you can see they redeployed. So you can see that they're by the storage hut here, whatever this shit is called, and they're going to parade. And also there's shots back here. And I'm just checking the loot bags. Again, this is the most important, this is the most important idea to try and get 30 bombs, and this is what I call vacuums. And what vacuums are, is you go somewhere, you clear the area out of people, and you create a vacuum where there is no more, there's no more pressure in there. There's just you, and you've sort of created a bubble around yourself. And what this does is when you've emptied that whole area, naturally people will come in, because there's nobody that's going to stop them from coming into there or traveling into you. Also, the people who you just killed in the vacuum, in your bubble, they'll come back for their loot, and this is what I'm doing. So you give 2 incentives within your area for people to come in. So automatically you're going to get more kills. Preferably you want more people to come in from elsewhere so you can keep on getting loot, because vacuums don't give you loot because you're going to keep on killing people who redeploy. That's the only issue with vacuums. So you want to make sure you know your limits with that. But this is what I'm doing here. I'm just farming people who are going to come back, and people are coming in from outer areas because of the incentive. There's no one stopping them anymore.
I'm gonna run out of brawler, which makes it like 5 times more difficult.
Looting is very important in my opinion, especially because of vacuums. A lot of people are like, oh, why do I loot so much? The reason I loot so much is because vacuums burn your loot very fast. They burn your ammo, they burn your perks, they burn your armor especially, and sometimes they burn your meds. It's of paramount importance if you're doing this sort of strategy of getting kills that you loot whatever you can get, or at least open bags to check what's in there.
Shit, but I have mobility which will hold this shit for a bit. I can't see shit because it's so dark.
Because of the kill feed, you can notice there is a guy with a sparrow here. Good news though, this guy never even appeared on the whole entire game. So the kill feed is something you should pay attention to. You can sort of see Furies there, sparrows, that's what you should look out for.
This guy's looting shit, but I don't know where.
But usually, if it's in the kill feed, you'll hear it. But the good news is, if I never heard the sparrow in the whole game, and I saw it in the kill feed, it means that the sparrow is no issue, because it's not even near me. This is one of
must
the
be bottom
issues with
floor,
being in docks, as I mentioned before, when you can't hear what floor people are on. This is the situation here, because it sounds flat. There is no verticality audio. So over here I'm checking top, middle, I need to check one down as well, and then one below that, just to find these
Then
guys.
it has to be bottom floor. There's nowhere else it could have been.
As I identified it correctly, and there's just some random kid here in the
So
shadows.
dark, man.
By this zone, 20, 29 and 25, this is a legendary game. It's one of the games where if I got this now, I think maybe I wouldn't be able to break my record, but I definitely would have been able to get somewhere upper 40s. If you wanted a 50, you want 30-30 with by this zone. So technically, by definition, this could have been a 50 game. Because I got such a zone, this is the effect of getting such a densely populated zone. Your people will die out faster. Even if they keep a decent amount for a while, eventually it will go... the population of the people will crash, and that's what happened in this game. The ending had a few less people than it should have, on average. And I accidentally wiped a team here as well.
Where you are.
So this is also another issue, where I can't tell where people are going up, they're actually down.
Oh my god.
Can't really do shit about this, so I lost a few kills here. This was one of the most tense situations within the game. Actually, the whole ending was pretty tense. By this point, I'm actually suffering from stress because I've realized the numbers. The best way to deal with it is just to not give a shit. The way I don't give a shit is I make sure I have decent loot and I have all the opportunities I can take within each situation, because the more opportunities you have, the easier it is to have an opportunity that like has a very high success rate, which means stress won't affect you that much. And this is the sort of situation here. I have mobility at my grapples. Right here, this is a cool move I would like to highlight, because I don't really do this too much. If you're ever in a situation, now you can see he's moving side, so he's not actually trying to push you. If he was trying to push you, you can stay in this corner. But you stay in this corner, he's going to pre-fire you. What I do is I calculate how many shots he has left in his magazine. This should be like his last bullets. And I do what's called like a... what's this shit called? A corner cut. And what the corner cut does is it screws over their whole aim assist, or whole lifestyle of their aim assist, and it makes you insanely difficult to hit. And also what I didn't realize is there's another guy to the side here, and because of this corner cut, what actually happened was I put them in each other's way, so they ended up shooting each other. And so you do this. Now, because he's reloading, I need to 100% shoot him, and as you can see, I pinned him in one area. This is probably the only chance of me dying in the game. That pole was very lucky. There was this one pole here, which saved my life. This one right here. If that shit was not there, it would be big RIP, but they ended up shooting each other and I have a free reign out. Because even if he tries like chasing me down, I have mobility and he's gonna get stuck on his own teammate. What you can also do in this situation is a snake. This is probably what I would have done now, but because of how this corner is set out, it's a very narrow corner. I don't know if a snake would work, and what a snake is you just go prone and instantly run out. You cancel your prone animation. It would have maybe worked, but I don't think I would have had enough time, so the snake would have been a viable option, but maybe not. In this day and age, 1 year ago, I wasn't doing any snakes either. I was aware of them, but I wasn't implementing them like I do now. And here's 30-25, very easy game. This was one of the biggest, saddest moments of the universe. I wiped this team. This could have definitely made more options for me, and more people got wiped. So the whole potential of this lobby just instantly decided, like, flatlined in 1 second. That's what happens when you get these sort of zones. I'm prioritizing, again, I'm looting as many things as I can. Time is not the issue, usually. Especially if you want to go for 30, the time will not be an issue, in my opinion, if you play it well enough. You should make sure your loot is always staying above in a decent level.
This is a really good game. Horrible ending for kills. Like it's less.
And I actually identified this problem within the game as well, where there's 15 people by the zone. There could be way more, especially because this is not the end game. So I was already identifying the problems, and I was already aware of them. This is also another close situation.
No way, this piece of shit does this shit to me. If I die like this, will be the gayest thing ever.
Because he has a strife and I have a mobility, simple option is just to run around.
I'm telling you, these guys are faggots, like literally.
And because I actually killed so many people, it's actually quite an important thing to notice. Nobody in this game has loot apart from me. Like basically at all. And if they do have loot, it's very light. I'm able to just beam them across map with the swordfish. The reason I grabbed the swordfish instead of anything else, in my opinion, this was like the most viable of the choice. You could of course grab like a SWAT or like a Vapor off the floor, but that shares a very big commonality with a VMP. The swordfish can pull a role that the VMP can't.
I got wiped. And
also the time to kill of this gun is insanely good, especially if they're like decently close range. This was another option where it was big RIP. Or big time where it was a nearly big RIP. I'm taking advantage of the ledge slides here. Get some movement on this guy. This is a cool thing you can do as well on the second floors of these.
This could actually be my record, right?
You can actually drop from the second to the bottom if you inch your way out. Then you just simply push this guy and it's easy peasy.
Well, let's just probably play for 40, I guess, because I don't think I can beat my record.
One thing I neglected was actually my heals.
I can beat my record.
We'll see that later on in the game.
I need to beat 46, by the way. I have 9 left.
And because, again, as I was saying, because I looted like a bunch of bags, I grabbed random shit. I have this nade and it gives me the opportunity to just throw this shit in here and kill the guy without having to go in and risk. That's one thing that can negate stress. It's very good. At this point, I'm not too stressed. It's not an issue. But very soon I will be.
No, I don't have grapples, what?
Because if you take a look at all the things that are helping me get this gameplay, my loot is diminishing very fast. This mobility is what was keeping my spirits higher, and now it's gonna be soon out.
Oh shit.
Also, this whole position made me very sad, because you have a triple chow from people holding angles on cover, like weirdos.
My heart rate is too high, I need to lower it.
The way I actually cope with the stress is an interesting method, and I just speak to myself. I don't exactly know if this psychologically improves anything, but the way it works for me is if I speak to myself, everything I do becomes clearer, and I don't make retarded decisions. If you speak to yourself, you can identify what the issues are a lot better. Stress clouds your vision and it clouds your reasoning, and so you end up making really, really dumb decisions, or you take decisions, or you neglect to take decisions that would have helped you in the situation. I'm just talking about random shit to myself.
Too much pressure here. Just bad. Slurring my words and shit.
You can also tell by the tone of my voice. Now for me, another way to deal with stress is just to get gameplays. If you get like a lot of 30s, you're never going to be stressed with 30s again. If you get a lot of 40s, you're never going to care about 40s again. So that's just the best way of doing it. Devaluing.
Stress is the worst thing that can happen in this.
That is
lowers your reaction time drastically, makes your brain not work properly.
Exactly. Devaluing your gameplays helps with stress as well. Although what this means is that you don't feel as happy getting the gameplays.
I can't play this slow.
Again, I'm evaluating the situation myself, saying it. And here I'm getting pressure from this side as well. I identified the problem of my heals and I realized that this is the best option right now. This fling was very important, although risky. Even though it looks like a really garbage move. From his angle, this is actually sort of a bungee jump, but it's actually it's a forward bungee jump, so you don't really bungee. Bungee jump is like you go up and down. This is like forward, speed a demon type shit. So you could do the grapple. This strife will not be able to hit you, because first of all, it doesn't have long barrel. Second of all, you're moving too fast anyway. And he shoots out most of his bullets as I'm flying out, so the amount of bullets he has left here is a big RIP. Now, if you're good enough, you can do this easily, but if you're not that garbage and you can't fling back to him, like I flung back really easily to him, then this might not be a good idea if you ever do this in game. You need to be able to fling back instantly. This bag fixes my problems, which is nice. I have my heals. I see some people reviving here, which is one of the issues with this whole entire game. These guys were really scared to push me. They feared me in a 3v1 situation. But because of the zone, and because I have positions of power, now what I mean by that is I have positions which are closer to the center zone than theirs. So I mean, if you have like a center zone, it's like here. And whatever is closest to this is what will win. So preferably, you don't want to be here. You'd rather be here. Or in this case, I'm already going to be close. I have a more better position for these guys. And eventually, because of how this whole zone was made out, I actually got a really nice ending on this. Because of the nice ending position that the zone gave me. Again, here all you have to do is wait for them. You don't have to risk anything. Just tap them so they have to heal and reload and shit. All the head glitch, they can't do shit. The worst thing that can happen is someone can kill this guy. At this point, to be quite honest with you, if the chances of that happening are pretty low, I would never recommend pushing out. It's definitely worth to push out and try and guarantee this kill than to just wait.
I can beat my record by quite a bit. By 2? Oh no, by 1. Okay.
Because I was doing so many vacuums in the game, my loot, as you can see, is literally garbage. I only have Spider-Man capabilities currently. Which within the zone are actually quite useful, because if I wanted to, I could take a route like to this side, or I could even do what I did in the actual game.
I have an idea. This will just literally guarantee me to win. Oh,
one thing I would have recommended, at least myself, if you're doing this, since I never killed people back here, there is a small chance, always. You want to identify all the possible areas people can kill you from. There's a small chance there's some weirdos camping here. I never checked this, but this chance is like so small to the point where like, I don't know, I don't think it really matters.
Guarantee me to win.
There is actually a guy here, if you notice. I could have definitely checked a bit more from this side. What I'm trying to do here though, is it's very important when you're in this position. If I were to highlight how this position is set out, you have a power position here. Let me do this correctly. You have a big wide gap of openness here. What you want to do is you want to make sure that the enemies who are here, they do not get past this openness. Otherwise, you will die. If they get out of this area and go through this area without you shooting them, there's going to be a big problem. This is what actually happened in the game, but it was only because this guy shot at me. And you'll see how that situation played out. So I'm estimating there's people here, because I never checked. I never actually knew there's people here, but because I was never shot from directly here, I was thinking they're probably here or below something. And he's there with like full loot. It's important to try to at least damage them, so they have to heal, repair armor or whatever, and reload. Gives you time. In this situation, because my armor is so broken I have no meds, the only course of action here, and I'm running out of ammo, is to push this guy. I actually shot back at him, which is a risky play, but this guy was a noob. Very lucky. And it's important in a lot of situations to shoot back, as I mentioned before, so that you can get more time. Those grapples came in very handy. And as I said, I explained that you don't want to let the enemies get past this line of a kill zone. This guy got past the kill zone, and after that, I mean, you're still not in a garbage position because I have the high ground, he has the low ground. So I technically have the advantage. But at that point, it's a lot about who has most of the loot, who has most of the opportunities. And in that regard, I don't have a lot because I have no ammo. So basically, I have one opportunity to kill this guy. If I miss it, I'm dead.
Is there a head glitch here? I can't remember, bro. My map knowledge is too weak.
Whenever you're playing like this, you can take your time. The reason you can take your time is because if you push out here too fast, he might be able to take a move where he just waits for you. And there might, as I mentioned in the video, there might be a head glitch on this wall. And if there's a head glitch on this wall, no problem, I could go there. Only problem is you need to have the right timing. Preferably you go there as he's moving out, so you catch him. There's another kill zone here. There's a kill zone like this in every situation you can have. I don't know if I can zoom in, but this whole area, this whole flat area here, whole kill zone. If you're there, you're gonna die. So what you want to do is you want to make sure they're there and you're not there. It's quite simple. Or they're there and you move into that kill zone as they're in there. And that's exactly what I did. They got into this flat area outside. I could hear them because they had no dead silence. And I jumped from the top, so I cameraed them, and they died. It was quite easy, they only did 1 bullet to me. What they should have done in the situation, if you want to know, if it was me below and someone else above.
Here? I can't remember, bro, my map knowledge is too weak.
Best case, definitely don't go outside, first of all. This outside push made no sense. Stay on this window is one of the options. Stay on this window, you can do some snakes, you can do an elbow on this. Because they, realistically, the people on top, technically might go out before you. Because if they don't, you can go out and shoot them out if they're camping in the zone. So that's no problem. Or, if you wanted to be a bit more aggressive, you take some angles here. You go out, you go back in, or you come out here, you go back in, but you make sure you take angles where you do it really fast and decently accurately, because they don't know which angle you're going to come in from. You can kind of come in from any angle you want to, whereas wherever you come out, you only have to look in one direction, right? So this is your advantage if you're on the low ground. Because of how the high ground is, it's like a triangle, so they're going to be usually going down one angle, because everything faces the same way. But because they're on the top of this triangle, they have to look like different directions at you. So you can pick whatever direction here. Again, if you don't want to do this, like stand there in the open, because they can hold a head collision and absolutely annihilate you, but you can definitely do some damage to them. That's how you would have won if you're on the bottom. This guy, it was bigger IP, he probably did the worst thing he could have. Or one of the worst things he could have. And that was it for the gameplay. Now, there's not much to do with the reactions, because the reactions weren't that important. But one reaction that's important is the fact that this was 7.634k damage. The issue with that is, this is still the world record damage, and you might be like, oh, that's interesting. The reason it's the world record damage is because this damage made no sense for this gameplay. This was way over damaged, and as you can see, I actually got 50 downs. So 50 would have, if I got all those kills, that would have been a complete world record gameplay, rather than just in the solo category. But this amount of damage was insane. This is actually enough damage for basically 51 kills, so I was over damaged by 4. I don't think I'll ever get a gameplay which goes over this, because that would be unlikely as hell. Very, very unlikely. And anything else I would like to mention about this game before I disappear off into nowhere land? I think that's about it.
I still haven't uploaded my 46. Bullshit. Yeah, holy shit, the damage.
As you can see, that's my reaction.
What the shit? That's like 700 above my damage. I was over fucking no way I was over damaged. I was over damaged that game? Wallah. I had fucking 50 downs! What the fuck? This is bullshit. Yeah, I was well over damaged. What the bullshit, man. But it's fine, it's actually better. The weird thing is, I still haven't uploaded my 46.
And this was actually uploaded before my 46, which is interesting because it was actually achieved later. But this was uploaded on the same day. The reason this was uploaded on the same day, actually, let me talk about the background before I go. This was the only time in the world where, actually, not really the only time in the world, but it was an interesting day because Crazy and me both got 47s on the same day. He got his slightly later than mine. I think he got his in the evening, I got mine in the afternoon. But I wasn't going to upload this at this time until someone told me, well, you should upload it so you can be before Crazies. I was like, okay, that doesn't sound like a bad idea, so I uploaded mine then. I was going to plan on uploading this right after my 46, but didn't go to plan. But yeah, this is one of the only times where two of the same gameplays got uploaded, like taken at the same time. You can probably search Crazy's gameplay, and this is his. This was uploaded one day after, I think. Yeah, 22nd December, but it was achieved on the 21st, so these were actually done in the same time. And as another matter of fact, let me go out of F11. As you can see, I was trying to hide the taskbar. And there I am. But yeah, another thing I could talk about with this gameplay, which I can't remember what the shit was I gonna talk about. Oh yeah, let's do it. So this gameplay was actually a world record for the most out of all my gameplays. It was a world record for 9 months, basically. It was beaten not too long ago on August 25th for a 48. So it's no longer the world record, but I still keep it because it has the most damage infliction. And this was what had a duality of my of Alcatraz, where me and Crazy had a nice record with each other, both together forever, loving each other. And that's about it actually for the gameplay. If you have any questions or if you want to make me highlight anything else, then go ahead, put that in the comments. If you want to watch the gameplay by yourself, then I'll link it, of course, in the comment section below and in the after screen in my outro. But for now, I think, yeah, that's about it. That's about all I want to say. It's a nice 1-year anniversary. And peace out. I wish you the best of luck in the games, and I love you all, my handsomes. Farewell. And GG's.